All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about international aid in Nigeria. And this is a topic that is, well, it's pretty complicated. It's really a story with two totally different sides. On one hand, you have this incredible potential to do good, but on the other, well, there are some really serious pitfalls. We're going to break it all down.
So what's the deal here? Is foreign aid a crucial lifeline that helps a country like Nigeria grow and develop? Or is it actually a trap, something that ends up causing more harm than good? As you're about to see, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. It's way more complicated than that.
So let's start with the tough stuff, the challenges, because it's so important to understand why these good intentions, all this money and effort, can sometimes just fall flat.
Okay, so there are a few big hurdles that keep popping up. We're talking about things like corruption, the government becoming way too dependent on aid, money just not being used for what it was meant for. You get the picture. These things can really derail the whole point of giving aid in the first place. Let's dig into each one.
First up, corruption. This is a huge one. Think about it. When all this aid money flows into a system where there aren't a lot of checks and balances, it's really easy for that money to just disappear. It gets siphoned off before it ever gets to the people who desperately need it.
And this isn't just a feeling, we've got the numbers to prove it. The Corruption Perceptions Index ranks Nigeria 149th out of 180 countries. Wow! Just that one number alone tells you how massive this problem really is.
And that corruption problem, it feeds right into the next issue, what's called aid dependency. It's basically when a government gets so used to receiving outside money that it stops trying to build things for itself. It becomes a crutch, right? And it stops them from making those hard choices to invest in their own schools, their own healthcare, their own future.
And when you have that dependency, you can see some really serious misuse of funds. I mean, get this. There are some pretty shocking claims out there that aid money that was supposed to be for development projects, might have actually been used to buy supplies for the Nigerian Navy. That's definitely not what it was for.
So what's the result of all this? Well, trust just gets completely eroded. It gets to the point where international donors are like, you know what, we just can't give the money directly to the government anymore. So they start looking for other ways to get the aid to the people, completely bypassing those official channels.
Okay, but that is a really bleak picture, isn't it? And it's only half the story. So let's flip the script. Let's talk about when aid works. Because believe me, there are some amazing success stories out there that show what can happen when things are done the right way.
A really fantastic example of this is the Nets for Life project. It's a super smart public health program designed to fight malaria, a disease that's totally preventable, but still affects millions and millions of people.
And what's so great about it is how simple and direct it is. Step 1, you teach people about malaria. Step 2, you give them mosquito nets for their homes. And Step 3, you stop the disease from spreading. Boom!
It's a straightforward, effective plan that just works. It's not just about nets, though. There's another great example with some health programs funded by the UK. These are focused on getting out into rural areas, providing healthcare, and maybe most importantly, giving people education about things like HIV. It's all about giving people the tools and the knowledge to protect themselves for the long haul.
And you know, aid isn't always about health. It can be a massive boost for the economy too. Take the World Bank, for instance. They've been giving out loans to help businesses in Nigeria get off the ground. It's a totally different kind of aid, but it's just as important.
The whole idea here is to help new companies and new industries start to grow. And why is that so important? Because it helps Nigeria move away from being so incredibly dependent on its oil industry. The more diverse the economy is, the more stable and resilient the whole country becomes in the long run. It's a really smart play.
So there you have it, two completely different sides of the same coin, right? On one side, you've got these massive problems with corruption and dependency. But on the other, you have these incredible successes that save lives and build economies. So how do we make sense of all this? Let's try to pull it all together.
What we're left with is, well, a really complicated reality. The problems, the corruption, the misuse of funds, they are absolutely real. But so are the wins, the health programs that work, the businesses that get started, the communities that are empowered. It's pretty clear this isn't a simple good versus bad situation.
And that brings us to the most important takeaway here. The big question isn't really should we give aid. The real question is how we give it. Because it really seems like the how, the way it's delivered, who you partner with, what the actual goals are, that's what makes all the difference between success and failure.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. How do we design aid so that it empowers people? Instead of just enabling a broken system,
How do we make sure it's not just a Band-Aid, but something that helps communities actually build their own better futures? That's really the million-dollar question for everyone in this field.